Hello, everyone. I'm Chase Dynamite. Let's start. Let's start with the first film of Warner Bros. Month that I'm reviewing. But first, I want to say that Warner Brothers has made a lot of loved classics, like Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, just many. But let's talk about one of the love classics that actually I enjoy and one I've seen. Even though those love classics look good, I haven't seen them yet, but I will. Don't think I not seeing it because I'm like them. Except for Gone with the Wind. Not that I don't like it, but dang, that's a long. That seems like a long movie. If there's some time where I don't have anything to do, I hope I can get 4 hours. Like I don't waste 4 hours of my time. Okay. But and that anime classic that I'm actually reviewing today is The Wizard of Oz. Who doesn't love this movie? Let me start with the beginning. Dorothy Gale, after she runs away from her home, tries to go back to her farm, but a tornado breaks out and spins her house around and makes her go up in the sky. When she awakes, she finds herself in a magical land called Oz. But she has to get home and escape the Wicked Witch. Can she get home? This is a classic that you need to see your kids, you parents. I loved this movie when I was a kid, also. And this is actually, yeah, and I have seen old movies like this, I haven't seen all movies like this, but I have seen a lot of old ones that I'll get to later in the year. And this one was no exception. I really liked this movie. First of all, let's start with the songs. These songs are really great. Well, minus one. But it's not actually in the movie. It was just cut from the movie. If you get the Wizard of Oz on a VHS, then they have some bonus features after the movie's over, and you can look at those to see what I mean. But I'm just going to tell you what it is in just a second. So these songs are really great in the movie. Like, there's the the song I won an Oscar for, Over the Rainbow. I really like that song. It's really good. The Ding Dong song, Welcome to Munchkin Land. It's pretty funny. I really enjoy all those munchkins. In fact, by the way, the actors that were in this movie, a lot of them are dead now. And pretty much most of the munchkins those are pretty much the only people that were in this movie that are probably still alive, I think. Because they were kids when they made this movie. And there's also The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. That everyone loves that song too. And we have The King of the Jungle. It's not my most favorite song, but it's a decent song. Oh, and Welcome to Emerald City. It's a really colorful song. Speaking of which, someone told me that this was the first movie in color. I mean, I know there were animated movies, but I mean like live action. And that's an interesting fact, because the color in this is great. Anyway, let's get back to the songs. The song that I talk about that I'm not really a fan of is the Jitterbug. It's a really long song. Despite some of the scenes in this movie being like a little too long, like some of the dancing, this song really took a long time. And the Jitterbug is not exactly catchy. I mean, it's frightening, but it's not really something I'm really into. But I really like the songs in this movie. Now let's get to the characters in the cast. I really like these characters. In fact, I even like I'm not saying I actually like the Wicked Witch, but she's a good villain. And she's also a terrifying villain. Did you know? I'm not spreading a rumor here. This is actually true. Movie Maker C told me this himself. He used to hate this movie. Don't get mad at him. Don't throw a brick at him or something. But besides, it was just for only one thing. Because he was scared of the Wicked Witch. I mean, I'm not embarrassing him or anything. But I'm just saying. I mean, he's not the only one. I mean, I saw in a video before that the Wicked Witch was really scared a lot of people during their childhood, especially growing up watching this. So, yeah, don't worry, Movie Maker C, you're not the only one, okay? Well, I'm not really scared of her, but she could be scary and creepy. But let's get back to the good characters, and I'll talk about the Wicked Witch later. Dorothy, the woodsman, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodsman, and the Lion, they're all good characters. I like Dorothy, of course, but during her while traveling to the Emerald City in Oz, the two most favorite characters I have that go with her are the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodsman. The Scarecrow is really funny since he doesn't have a brain, and the Tin Woodsman is just, it's hard to explain why, but he's just likable for somehow. And don't worry, I'm a fan of the Lion. He's not my favorite though. I also like in the movie and Oz the Great and Powerful. Yes, I like that movie. I'm not gonna mention it very much, but they did something in both these movies. In this movie, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodsman, and the Lion, they are played by the same actors who played Dorothy's little farmers who lived on her farm. They weren't related to her, by the way. They helped her with her farm. They were. I only remember the Tin Woodsman, the human Tin Woodsman. His name was Hickory. Get it? It's weird how they gave the name Hickory to the name Hickory was the human name of the Tin Woodsman, and the Tin Woodsman has an axe. In fact, the tree he was chopping down before he turned solid, that might have been a hickory tree. Who knows? And the Tin Woodsman is played by Jack Haley, and his son directed the special features. Jack Haley Jr. directed the special features. And the Scarecrow is played by no wait, it's not Bert. It's Ray Bolger. And I really like the costumes in this movie. And the Lion is played by Bert. I don't remember the last name of him. But anyway, I really liked how they also had the man who plays the man Dorothy sees. She tries to go with him before he tells her about her aunt, and she runs back to the farm. And I also like how he played the wizard in Oz. I really like how having characters in real life in the movie playing characters in the fictional world, and they're basically the same character. Dorothy even mentions like, you remind me of old friends I used to have in Kansas. That I used to have. It's like you were always been with me. They have. Yep. Now let's get to Toto. He is one of the most talented dogs to ever be in a movie, and if it weren't for him, there wouldn't be dogs in the movies. There wouldn't be talented dogs in movies as much as Toto. Now let's get to the witch. She too is also played by a character in Dorothy's world. It is her, and they are both the same character as well. It's Dorothy's It's the one who tried to take Dorothy's dog and have Dorothy's dog Toto and have him put to sleep for getting in her garden. And Dorothy really called her a witch too. And in this world, she's a witch. And in the tornado, she's on her bike riding, but she suddenly turns into a witch. I really love the way that the thing they did in this movie. Now let's get to the color. For the first movie in color, I really liked the color in this, from the pony changing colors to the sets of Oz, and just everything, and even the Emerald City. I mean, that's all I can say about the colors. I just really like them. Who wouldn't? And Warner Brothers did make this movie, by the way. I mean, it wasn't the only company, though. That was Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, but... So don't nitpick at me for reviewing this movie for Warner Brothers month, because Warner Brothers co-distributed this movie too, okay? That's why I am reviewing it. Okay. So, and this is why one of the things I like. Well, I'm gonna say that later. This is a great book adaptation of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. I haven't read the book, but I have seen but I was looking in an almanac before about book adaptations, like The Wizard of Oz and the book. And it's telling me some things that happened in the book, originally Dorothy's slippers were actually silver, not ruby, but I'm not sure of this, but this is just a theory. They wanted to keep color in this movie, so I think they didn't want it to be not colorful in this movie, so they put it ruby. And there's also a scene that I'm glad they didn't put from the book, that the Tin Man used his axe on innocent animals, and probably killed them. I don't remember if it said he killed them, but really, I like the Tin Man, and I'm glad they didn't put that scene, or I would have hated him. And I don't know, and if people don't like that, and also, and if you don't like the Tin Man, I hope you like him in this movie. Because unless he was really mean in the book, like you like it for that one thing, then I don't know if I'm going to like him in the book. The movie also teaches a great lesson for kids. There's no place like home, of course. For the last thing I talk about before I give this movie a score, I'm going to talk about the Wicked Witch. She is a good villain. I'm not saying I like her, but for a villain, she does a good job. This is how all villains should be. Why, she says, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too." By the way, that's one of the memorable scenes in the movie. So, yeah, she's good for a villain. Now for my final thoughts on the movie. Overall, Wizard of Oz is a classic. One of the best classics Warner Brothers ever made, besides Citizen Kane and Gone with the Wind. I recommend you see this movie if you're a kid and grown-ups. You can still watch it every year. I give this movie a 10 out of 10. Well, that's all I have for now. By the way. So join me for our next Warner Brothers classic review. That during the 20s, 30s, and all those other early years. That another classic thing that makes Warner Brothers, well, a classic studio, besides other studios. So, see ya. I hope you look at Chase Dynamite's reviews. See ya, Chase Dynamite's reviews.